Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. From Asthma Core Studios near Detroit, Michigan. It's unregimented.
Gangsters, what's up, guys?
And now, here are your hosts.
It's the last day of March 2020. Boy, what a difference 30 days makes, huh? Remember back 30 days ago when we could do things? Some people could, work. Yeah, so. Good news, the MyPillow guy is, he's on the case.
Did you skip part of this podcast?
How so?
God damn it, you stole Aaron's thunder. He wanted to bring the MyPillow guy up.
Well, I was waiting for you to say who you are.
Oh, I'm Chris.
I'm Aaron.
And I'm Rich. And I stole no one's thunder. So
yeah, there we go.
There you go.
I'm new here. It's the first day.
You go up to Cripples and dance too, Chris?
What's that?
You go up to Cripples and dance too?
Yes.
Look what I could do.
Come on,
What's up, Ironside?
Yeah.
What?
No, ignore us.
It's a Bill Hicks joke. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's
All right. Great start. So, I'm going to sleep easier tonight, knowing that the MyPillow guy is on top of this.
Yeah. Well, I like what he said. He pretty much said, "Hey, my factory's now doing this." But today was definitely one of the most.
He also took the opportunity to talk about God in schools and it make inference to Trump's election is a gift from God.
Yeah, most of today's presser went right through me. It's non-informational. I'm essentially now just watching these things, waiting for Pence, Fauci, and Birx to speak. Quite honestly, those are the three adults in the room.
Well, that being said, the MyPillow guy he's at least a more reassuring presence than Trump is.
Yeah, no. You went to try and shake his hand. One of
what?
One of the MyPillow guy tried to shake Trump's hand. Or no, Trump tried to shake his hand.
Okay.
And he kept walking. One of them stiffed the other one because I think they remembered, oh shit, we're not supposed to do this at the moment when it was all said and done. It was real quick right at the end.
Well, this is Trump. He did look at an eclipse with his bare eyes. So, if you shocked he forgets he's not supposed to shake hands with somebody?
No, I think I think it was the MyPillow guy actually had his hand out, now that I think about it.
Okay. All right. I was going to say, because Trump seems to me like he's the type of asshole who does the power handshake where he goes to shake your hand, he turns your hand over to where his hand's on top of yours, and he's kind of shaking it sideways. The power shake, and it's like, oh, dude, really? Wow. The microscopes and tweezers you got to, or the tweezers and microscope you got to use to fucking take a piss with. It's showing, dude. Seriously.
Well, the advantage he has on Trump that I was saying is that he's actually successful in business, and you actually believe what he's saying. You actually believe that he believes what he's saying.
How did he go from? I'm assuming he was there to talk about, if I heard you correctly, about stuff he's going to have his company do to help with.
Yeah, it's stuff
they're already doing. They're making masks.
It was him, the CEO of Honeywell, and then someone. They did the rule of threes, right? So they had three business leaders up there saying what our businesses are doing to help, and then they moved on to something else.
I don't understand how he goes, hi, I make overpriced pillows, and now we're going to make face masks for the U.S. government. Now I'd like to talk about God being in school.
When the Republicans are involved,
he's got his shtick, man. Once you get him talking, that's what he's going to talk about. He's going to talk about MyPillow, and he's going to talk about God.
Well, yeah, because even in his commercials, he's wearing it. You could see he's got a gold cross in his commercials. He is a Jesus fan, and he's not ashamed of it.
He does realize that if he's making body pillows of these MyPillows, that the weirdos on like 4chan are making waifus out of them and dry humping these fucking things?
I don't think he does. I think he just makes the one pillow.
Yeah.
I'm still saying one of his pillows been dry humped by someone who put anime pillow sheet on that shit.
Pillows be dry humped.
But no, hey, stop making such sexy pillows. You're pissing God off, buddy. Stop it. Like day 86 of the quarantine, my pillow's asking for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just very strange. But now that it's of course, fucking Trump heads up there. We start talking about God, who makes pillows. It's like what? I don't understand. Whatever.
Well, I mean, when Republicans are involved, you can get to religion in like 2 easy steps generally. Just sometimes one. Sometimes all you need is because God wanted this. That's your move.
Hey, Trump is just the worst at finding people who are like, they force two puzzle pieces that obviously don't go together. I'm waiting for him to come out at one of these press conferences and be like, have you guys ever mixed bleach and ammonia and stuck your head over and took a deep breath? It'll clear you of the virus real quick. It's beautiful. It's like, thank you, Trump. Appreciate that.
So that was today's, and then apparently he sparred with Acosta again today. Like, most of today's presser just went right through me. So
he gets really irate about being quoted.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they're asking about things that he said before.
Yeah, a lot of times.
You said this. Do you still believe this to be true? Which, in times like this is not some outrageous gotcha question for a president.
Yeah.
When we're going through times of turmoil, like, hey, a week ago we were here. Are we still there? Are we still projected to be where we said, a week ago or 2 weeks ago? So, I mean, I know that they come off like gotcha questions because Trump's all over the place, but it's still a reasonable question to ask.
And I'm sorry, who did
now? Acosta was one of them. There was another reporter that he was yelling at.
Okay.
Well, which one? Yeah, there's been several. Today it was Jim Acosta.
Yeah.
Today it was Trump Classic. Today was one of his greatest hits. Me and Jim Acosta. Hey, remember 2016? Just throwback. So yeah, that was today's presser. But let's see, what were we talking about?
Well, it was today's press conference that he pushed back the out day, right?
Well, no, that was yesterday. We pushed it to the 30th.
Okay, but even with going back to work, the days are all running together.
Yeah. Well, yesterday too, my wife brought up a great point about what he did with yesterday. Is he did what he always does. He created a problem that didn't exist with Easter, and then he solved it. So now he looks like a hero. So now he can. Oh yeah. So now he can try to say, "Hey, I wanted us to go back to work. However, I chose human lives." Oh,
he had ass kissers on Twitter saying, "Oh, Trump is making great decisions because he decided not to, get the economy restarted by Easter." And then Trump goes and retweets those. He's retweeting praise for him, and everybody knows that he's the one who announced that this was a target date in the first place.
Because he can now play both sides of the fence. He can play the "I tried to start the economy back up" card for the hardcore right, and then he can play for the people more towards the middle of his base. He can play the "No, I chose lies over commerce." He can now play that card.
And there's nothing wrong with him considering that date as Easter for restarting the economy. The problem is that he's doing his thinking out loud and not in private where he should be.
Yeah, this isn't high school.
Behind the scenes, you should expect our leaders to be saying, well, what happens if we shoot, and to, obviously you're going to want to push for getting things back on track as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. And you're constantly going to be pushing against your experts who are saying, no, we should be, looking at this date, we should be doing these practices. But be having these discussions in a public forum, it's chaos. And that's why you have, not only just in in blue states reacting appropriately, but we're seeing results. We're seeing areas like Portland, big liberal areas, that are flattening the fuck out of that curve, and Florida is just shooting up.
Well, to be fair, that it started.
Don't believe it.
They started earlier in that part of the country. I mean, if we're going to follow, Washington and Portland are over the hump because they started way earlier. You know, everyone's on a different curve.
I'm not talking about no. I'm talking about the overall curve. I'm not talking about comparing them, overlaying them. I'm talking about how many cases each one has at any given time. If you look at the history of the spread of the disease in that area, you have social distancing practices that flatten the curve. These are happening predominantly in blue states.
Okay, then
and in red states, they're not doing it.
Well, then what's Michigan's excuse?
What is Michigan?
We have a blue governor.
Yes, but we went for Trump, so we're kind of in between. So we could go either way.
Oh, okay.
So what do you mean? What's our excuse, though?
We have a blue governor who's been making all the right moves, who's been ahead of the curve, who's been ahead of the nation, and now we're number 4 as far as how many cases. We are definitely still we are still on the back side of that hill.
Again,
or front side, or whatever way you want to look at it.
I'm only talking about how the number of cases exploded, right? That's what you're looking at when you're talking about flattening that curve, right? So it's not about how many cases any one area or state gets. It's about how they handle them and how Michigan has handled it. Yes, we've had an explosion, especially here in Wayne County. Most of our hospitals are over capacity, but in general, if you look at Michigan's curve, it's pretty gradual compared to what happened in Florida. I mean, there's other factors here involved too. When you get super densely populated areas like New York City, that'll put Florida to shame. But you do see a trend of people taking this more seriously in liberal areas, people taking it less seriously in conservative areas, and you do see direct results of that.
Well, yes, because if you look at the CDC map and you look at the South, it's bad. If you look at it's getting
really
worse.
Starting to hit the rural areas just now.
And
all these rural areas that were like, well, that's just something that is going to happen in big cities. That's now starting to hit them. They have even less resources to lean back on. Their hospitals will be overwhelmed even faster.
And it's all these governors that aren't sheltering their states in place. It's because I'm dealing with a couple of these states with my day job. They're not sheltering their states in place, so instead the cities and the counties have to take it into their own hands and do it themselves. Florida, you're right. Florida's going to be our Italy because they haven't done anything as far as statewide measures. They have to do it county by county, city by city, and again, they have a higher percentage of elderly people down there. Florida's going to be bad. Next week, we're going to be talking about, I have a feeling next week, we're going to be talking about like some horrific shit down in Florida.
Dude, Central Florida is a clusterfuck right now. And once people start dying, and Central Florida is where a lot of people have retired to, along with Dade County, Miami, the Miami area, which is just as bad as Central Florida. Yeah, you're right. In a week or two, there's going to be a lot of people that were talking shit about 2 weeks ago. They're going to be gasping for their last fucking breath because they don't have a ventilator. And, well, we're sorry, you're over 65. You had your shot. Yeah. And I have family in Florida. I talked to them, not just last weekend, the weekend before. And none of my family in Florida are right-wing by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, one of them, very proud to call himself a authoritarian communist. Okay, pretty far from fucking right-wing.
What the fuck that means?
And they're all like, well, you guys are just going nuts up there with it. It ain't that bad. Come on, man. We've heard this about SARS, about H1N1, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, is the propaganda machine that strong in the state of Florida? Seriously?
This thing is global.
What are they
this
thinking?
Thing is global. Global. The entire globe.
They're making footage up. This is all like wag the dog shit. They were just staging. Like, everybody stay home and we'll film the empty streets and make the rest of the country believe that there's a pandemic.
Yeah, do you think you live in North Korea? Where the fuck do you think you live?
Hey, everybody. remember how Bill Maher said that the economy tanking would be bad for Trump's reelection chances? Let's all tank the economy on purpose and make up a pandemic and all stay home and all lose our jobs. That'll show them.
Yeah, fucking retards.
Well, I mean, to be brutally honest, I told one family member, I'm like, all due respect, I love you. Put your heads up your ass on this one. And, you know, she's older. She's in her mid-60s. I said, you need to be careful. And you are right in the epicenter for Florida for that bullshit, because you have Central Florida is a tourist destination. That is an international airport there in Orlando. You have people flying in from all over the world. Disneyland in California shut down before Disney World in Florida did. So think about that. Disney World, Epcot, Universal Studios, all that shit was open like a week after the rest of the Disney parks had closed. So, I mean, just imagine how many people come through the turnstiles from out of town, picked it up, and then took it back to wherever they were going. I mean, it's scary. And the fact that I haven't heard from anyone in my family down there has got me kind of worried. Like, are people starting to get sick? And they're like, I don't want to hear I told you so before I fucking take my last breath. And it's like, no, I'm not going to say that. But what I'm going to say is, will you please listen now? If you're not sick now, in fact, fuck my family in Florida. This is for everybody. If you haven't took this serious yet, and you're at this point and you're not sick and you don't have to leave your house, stay the fuck home. It's not that hard. There are people out there that will bring you fucking food if you don't want to cook. Trust me, I'm one of them. Right?
I had to explain to my mom today why she couldn't go get milk and bread. Oh, well, I'm putting you at risk if you go get it. Like, Mom, I'm 40. According to this, I'll be fine. I haven't had a physical in a while, but who knows? But yeah, Mom, you're 71, you have diabetes. I will go get you milk and bread for the love of God. Or whatever the fuck she needed. Milk and butter. Whatever. It blew my mind. And last week, she went to the pharmacy. I hit the roof while I needed my meds. I pick up my wife's meds all the time. The fuck is wrong with you? I told her, we got one parent in the ground. Let's not rush you.
Well, I'm honestly really curious as to what the local news in Florida was saying as of 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, and what they're saying now. Because I got to imagine their tune has changed quite a bit. They've pulled a complete 180.
But not really. They're still not shelter in place. Like, to be Florida's governor and Texas governor, idiots. Because instead of telling their states to shelter in place, what are they doing? Saying anybody who comes from New York, New Jersey, Michigan, or Louisiana, they have to quarantine. No.
Yeah, they think they can just keep the dirty outsiders quarantined, and then this is going to be okay.
Well, all right.
I mean, they had to. Florida is where they had one of the pastors holding these huge services.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, police had to come in and arrest the guy.
Yeah, they broke him. They broken it up twice, and this was the third time, and they finally said, "Okay, 3 strikes, bro. You're going to jail. We don't care if you are a fucking man of God."
I guess as of 10 hours ago, according to the Hill, governor issues stay-at-home order for South Florida.
Well, I know they did that.
We don't need a stay-at-home order for South Florida. We need it for the North part. That's the part connected to the rest of us. South Florida can go to fucking hell.
Well,
they can drop off into the fucking Gulf for all I care.
I know that as far as a week and a half ago,
it Bugs Bunny that saw that shit off.
The governor shut the beaches down and the bars along the coast because that's where we got the infamous video of all the kids bitching that were there for spring break.
Right.
So I mean,
he was probably just concerned about immigrants swimming it over, coming over on a raft with the coronavirus.
What shit? If you're coming from like Cuba, right. You know, you're like, and they're like, okay, we're going to quarantine you, and they put you in a room with a bed
in the fucking ocean.
Like, I floated over here on a fucking screen door.
Yeah,
a screen door.
Anything it's scurvy. Give me some oranges.
Yes, exactly. Give me some vitamin C. But no, they're coming over here. They're like, I just floated 90 miles across the ocean. Shark-infested waters on a door, and now you want to fucking quarantine me in a room with a bed, a television, and 3 hots, and nurses to come in and take my temperature?
I just made a trip that even coronavirus ain't taken.
But no, this shit is scary, and I'm like, we're not young men anymore, guys. We're not teenagers. We're not just in our 20s.
I got asthma.
The people we love and care about, supposedly, are older than us in our family. And I mean, I
love and care about myself. I don't want to die.
I mean, but it breaks my heart.
I don't know what that shit's going to do to me. I got compromised lungs.
Hey, I can think of two people who probably don't want you to die. They're in there at your house with you right now.
But I mean, it breaks my heart when I hear, like, a 63-year-old family member
talking
about...
Until the Wi-Fi bill starts getting paid. Like, what happened to Dad?
Have you poked Dad with a stick lately? And why are the cats carrying around their food bowls? And why is the Wi-Fi
They're
off?
smart enough now. They'd find my card. Hey, it's still active.
Set it up for auto pay. We're going to ride this bitch as long as we can.
Meanwhile, let's upgrade while we're at it.
Next thing you know, you're going to get your unemployment check, and they're going to be like, and your government, I am your president check, and they're going to be forging your signature and cashing that shit. Your son's going to be riding around with his hair tucked up behind the hat and your ID. See, I look just like him.
It's crazy.
Unregimented.
ChristopherMedia.net. ChristopherMedia.net.
Unregimented.
But no, it is scary as shit when you talk to a 64-year-old family member who is college educated. I mean, has always had a strong streak of distrust for anybody in the government. When they go, trust me, she's like, that's when I know I need to put my hand over my wallet and back away slowly. And she's like, this is all being blown out of proportion. It's like you're playing Russian roulette with your life. And not like in the way that like we all do. I'm gonna smoke this cigarette, I'm gonna drink this beer, I'm gonna get in the car with this person who's been drinking, but I'm not driving. Hopefully they don't get me killed. No. This is like bad fucking news, man.
Yeah, I don't get how you go from like you don't trust the government at all, and then the government tells you, and the invisible germ's probably not going to kill you, and you're like, all right,
right?
I do not understand. I don't.
Like, you think you'd go the other way and be like, oh, they're trying to cover up how bad this is.
The only other thing I heard that was is dumb is someone who has that deep of a distrust of the government all of a sudden just swallowing whatever the government goes. Open your mouth, shut your eyes, and you're going to swallow whatever I give you to swallow. And she's like, okay. The only thing that blows my mind more than that is the fact that my family in Tennessee, who are right outside Chattanooga, which, while it's not the Metro Detroit area, it is a highly populated area, and it's a border town that borders 2 states. They're like, there's not enough people around here for us to worry about getting sick.
Oh, my God.
Okay. You understand that one of the major highways in this country, 75, goes right through Chattanooga, that people travel from all over the country. All it takes is one person to cough on the wrong fucking
one guy
waffle waitress, and it's fucking on. You understand that, right?
I don't know. You know what else I hope happens coming out of this? That we can all finally get back on the same page that obesity is a health condition. Because if you're noticing a lot of these people that are, well, not a lot, but a lot of the people that are under 60 that are checking out, they're overweight.
Woohoo! All right.
But I mean, I come from big people. You know?
I come from, like you're a descendant
dude,
of Goliath or something.
Dude, put it this way. If you look at my cousins and shit, I'm the skinny guy. Put it that way. Dude, like, I come from, like, just obesity runs in my family. I am aware it is a health problem.
Not for long.
Right.
You're about to be the fattest guy in your family. No, that's horrible. I'm sorry. That's wrong.
but that's the thing is hopeful, because there's been, like, this weird trend in the last 5 years. All of a sudden, you're not supposed to, obesity is all of a sudden not a health problem. No, it is.
Oh.
It brings tons of shit with it. It brings hypertension. It brings diabetes. You know, it brings liver dysfunction.
As a fat ass, okay, I will say this. The society shit, the way I'm looked at by people, I don't give a fuck about. I am more concerned with the health issues that come with being a fat ass. If there were no health issues and people were just like, ugh, you're a disgusting fat ass. And I'd be like, yeah, and your shirt's gay, so fuck you. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, you bought that shirt, I can lose weight. Who's winning in this situation? You know, but
can lose weight, can't fix your face.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I agree with that. It kills me when I hear this shit, healthy at any size.
No,
that's bullshit.
No, it's not. Yeah, no, medically it is incorrect.
Look, my oldest friend from high school, my oldest friend in my life period, the person I had spent the most time through all my life talking to in 2015 was trying to walk through the house. He was almost 700 pounds when he died. And he was making his way across the room and collapsed. And 4 days later, I get a phone call from his fiance, and she's like, yeah, he's dead. And I'm like, what? Yeah, he's been in a coma for the last 3 days, and his family made a decision, and they took him off life support, and he's gone.
Did you tell her it was okay? He should just be body positive?
And I'm just like, but that's the thing. Like, every time I try to talk to him, he's like, who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you talking to me? You fat ass too. And I'm like,
dude, you are 700 pounds.
I'm like, bro, if I got to leave the house, we're not taking out a wall.
They make TV shows about people as big as you.
You know.
And not in a good way.
And that's some scary shit, man, because if you've worked in pizza delivery, if you've ever worked in any type of delivery, whether it's food or packages or whatever, you run into your fair share of shut-ins.
Yep.
They're not necessarily bad.
It's always sad.
They're not necessarily bad people. They're just they got a lot of issues, usually mental. And every time they open the door, like I had one guy who tried to get me to come in his house today, and I'm like, no, dude. Do you not, the world's trying to end out here, and you want me to come in and fucking do what? Split a joint with you? I don't think so, dude. Them days is gone for the time being. That shit is done, you know? And I'm just looking and I'm like, all it's going to take is for one person who comes to work and, I'm sick, I'm coughing, I got a fever, but I'm young, I'm fine. Start making deliveries to these people, and then boom, it's off to the races. And it's scary, you know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, what are these people's, look, if you don't like fat people, fine, don't like fat people. I don't give a shit. But what is their sin? They like to eat too much? I mean, is that really, like, because I know there's someone out there like, fuck them, they're fat, fuck them. Okay, but is that a reason to, like, cheer their death? I mean, should I cheer the death of someone who's a smoker? Should I cheer the death of someone who, you know, has a condition that puts them at risk, that they had nothing to do with, no lifestyle choices, and just chalk it up to Darwinism? Well, oh well, fit in the herd, oh well. I mean, that's the opposite of it. Yeah, you don't want people to fucking think walking around at 500 pounds and 5'2" is healthy, because it's not. They want to say they're beautiful. That's subjective. Whatever. I'm sure you are to somebody. Tax season's coming up. You're going to be beautiful to somebody, sweetheart. All right, but I don't want people to fly and say, "Oh, you're healthy at 500 pounds and 5'2". But on the other hand, it's no good to be like, "Well, fuck you, you fat piece of shit. Go die in a fucking corner somewhere." Okay, so do we not want people to get healthy? Do we not want people to?
I mean, I was just a lot of the through lines I've seen just reading about these people that have been under 60. They've been heavier, you know, and have had other things too. And it's like, maybe this will get people to wake up. Hey, no, this is still a thing. But I don't want to spend the whole show on this either. It's a thought I had the last couple of days. Like, maybe this will kind of turn that tide a bit, but probably not.
But you know what? I'm glad you brought it up, because it's one of those things that it's just simmering underneath the surface whenever someone brings up underlying conditions, and they'll bring up diabetes, heart conditions, asthma. They bring all that up without even blinking an eye. And they'll just kind of go obesity, and then move on real quick. And it's like, why the fuck can't we talk about the fact that, yeah, if you're fat, you're at risk for fucking dying.
And obesity is kind of like an umbrella condition for all of these other things that we're talking about.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Just having a compromised immune system, having having diabetes.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what took out my old man. That's what trashed his liver. You know, I joke with him. His liver didn't even trash the fun way by drinking. He had the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which we do all the research from it. That is from being overweight. That's generally how you get it. You know,
bombarding your liver with sugars constantly.
Yeah, my whole life, my dad's been he was over 300 pounds until he got sick. See, my dad's skinny was weird for me. But yeah, man, the guy's 5'6", 300 pounds, built like a bowling ball my whole fucking life. I guarantee you that's what took him out.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you what, man, there's been some shit that's been a little eye-opening to me. Like, you know, the fact that this shit affects everybody's respiratory system that gets it the way it does. And the fact that, you know, when I moved into a non-smoking house. So I was out essentially self-quarantining for almost 2 full weeks. I went through like 4.5 packs of cigarettes in that period of time. And it ain't shit for me to go through a pack and a half in a day a year or two ago. Easy, I go through a pack and a half in a day a year or two ago. I mean, and I'm like, I'm not trying to get back up to no pack and a half a day. You know what I'm saying? Like, anytime I'm like, well, I want a cigarette. Do you really want one?
Yeah.
Is it really what you need right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if I'm sitting at home, it's like, well, I can shut the door and kick the cat out and at least jerk off. Well, I probably 10 minutes. You know?
What are you going to do with the other 9 minutes, 30 seconds?
Well, no, I said 10 minutes. If I'm being picky, maybe 15. Because I got to find that right scene. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm not bullshitting. It's made me be like, all right, cool. I need to fucking pump the brakes on some shit like that. And to be brutally honest with you, it's not because I think I'm going to extend my life. It's just I've heard in graphic detail how people die from this shit.
Yeah. Like drowning in your own lungs.
Fuck that. Yeah. And let me tell you something. They closed the hospital here, right down the street from where I'm at. It is now full of people who have the virus, and that's it, and the healthcare workers. Mm-hmm. And the doors are locked to get out. Think about that. You're in there, you got to be let out. And yes, they are calling in the National Guard. And they'll be there either later today or tonight or by morning. And if I'm in there and they put me in the fucking, well, you're not getting a ventilator, so you either get better or die. And I notice a lot of people checking out around me. I'm trying to get the fuck out of there and find a gun because I'm not fucking drowning in my own fucking fluid. Fuck that. I'm blowing my head off. I'm calling it a fucking life on my terms. And I'm sorry if some fucking pimple-faced private who's so that he's never fired a rifle outside of the rifle range at fucking basic training is going to have to put a bullet in me to stop me. That's what he's going to have to do. Sorry.
Damn.
Fuck that, dude. Fuck that. Drowning because your lungs are filling with fucking fluid and it's not from an outside source and you're just sitting there struggling to breathe. Meanwhile, doctors walking around you like, yeah, there's nothing we can do. Just let them die. Fuck that. I'll take suicide by National Guardsmen. Go get some fucking therapy. Now you earned your PTSD, you piece of shit.
Well, and the government will pay for it too. All right, well, shall we move on to? I believe there's something else we want to talk about. Do we still want to talk about GE?
Government Electric?
I think in general, let's talk about. We were talking yesterday about Ford and FCA. And now GM finally getting on board with, making badly needed medical supplies. That's part of why the MyPillow guy was up there. For all the fun I make of that dude, he's doing something right. They're making not masks, not the face masks for what do you call them?
Fentanyl?
I don't know how to differentiate here. Not the breathing type mask, but the face shields is what they're making. So for doctors that are, working on somebody that might be contaminated or I don't know.
The full face shield?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's face shield, there's mask, and then there's the respirators.
But yeah, I had brought up a story before we started recording about GE and how they're workers are actually protesting and they want to go back to work and make ventilators. But since then, I found a story of Ford partnering with, they're making ventilators by partnering with GE Healthcare. So GE is making ventilators with Ford.
So they're people
I guess
struck for no reason? Like, did you say there was like a little walkout or something?
Strike because they're out of work. I mean, I think they just shut the factories down.
You said there was a protest.
A protest, right. They are, so it's jet engine factory is, So I guess these are all jet engine factory workers.
To me, if the employees and the company want to do something to help in this situation, why are we not expediting that process? And any company that it goes, we really don't want to help. Well, we're gonna wait till this thing blows over, and then we're gonna bring all our workers back. And fuck you. Sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, GE already has a division that makes healthcare products. So
obviously not enough.
They're using those resources. I don't know. I think there's a little bit too much of this gotcha culture that's applying to this, because everyone wants to call out like what companies are and aren't doing during this pandemic. And look, companies are just run by people, and there's a lot of people in this country that don't know what the fuck they're doing right now. They thought they knew 2 weeks ago, and now everything's changed. And
I know with the person in the White House we have that this is a fairy tale to say, but I mean, if we actually had a good businessman as our president, why wouldn't he go to these companies and say, so all your factories are sitting there empty, you're doing absolutely nothing with them, you're either paying workers to not come to work, or they're collecting unemployment on you. Why don't we see how quickly we can convert at least some of these factories, get some of these people back to work, and get a little bit of income coming in versus the nothing you have now?
Well, does the Defense Production Act essentially make them do that once he enforces it?
I haven't read.
I would imagine it would.
Enough, but I don't know if they're going to be compensated the same if the government has to step in and basically force them to do it. Like, I think that's supposed to be a last resort type thing. And like I said, once again, it was Trump's side of the story. It could all be bullshit. Most likely it's embellished. He made it sound like GE was like, no, we want to, or GM, excuse me, was like, no, we want top dollar for what we're about to give you. And he's like, we ain't got that type of money or time to sit here and argue. Make the fucking ventilators, or else they'll be hell to pay when the smoke clears.
Well, the production of ventilators, though, it's not about helping what's happening right now. Ford's going to be making, between them and GE, they're going to be making 50,000 ventilators. I don't know what the other companies are going to be doing, but there's only so many ventilators that we need. Right? It's not about like, oh, we're going to have 100,000 cases, so we need 100,000 ventilators. What we need is a greater backstock, basically, of ventilators.
Yeah, because the one
by the time that they even start production on these ventilators at Ford, it's going to be April 20th.
And that's the one thing too that's been misleading about all of this is we're making it seem like there's a giant shortage of these things. There's not. These are just people wanting to be ahead of the projected numbers. Like they basically this is trying to make sure the healthcare system doesn't break.
But there is a shortage. There is a shortage of ventilators, but it's not just ventilators. There's
a shortage of masks, face shields, gloves, ventilators, et cetera, et cetera. And according to NPR, the federal government in either late January or early February sent a bunch of our fucking stockpile of these things to China to help them with the fucking virus.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so talk about short-sighted. I mean, by the time...
Let's get them back. Let's go. Come on, China.
Well, hold on a second. Let's be honest.
Now they
here.
got the virus.
let's be honest here. By the end of January, this shit had been fucking brewing, and had been going on in China for what 3-4 months that we knew about. So how long were they fucking sitting on their hands, going, "Don't say shit, don't say shit," because it is China. Just like I don't trust their fucking numbers that say that. We're on the other side. We have less than 80,000 people who have the virus in our country right now. I'm like,
that you know of.
I don't buy it.
There are many remote parts of China that I'm sure people have not been tested.
Over 1 billion people in that country, and I know people who've been to China, like modern day. Yeah, there might be some remote parts, but the cities, they're all on top of each other like fucking rats. Just like every other fucking city. Just the living conditions vary.
One of the few.
We talked
about
it with New York. 10 million people on a fucking island, essentially, living on top of each other.
Just one of the things that fool has been right about every day at that podium is we have now officially tested the most people. So yeah, I don't trust China's numbers because. Yeah, a billion and a half. How many have you actually tested? Have you actually tested?
And see, that's the scary part in this situation. Countries, instead of just going, it's time to drop all this bullshit. We'll get back on our bullshit. Believe us. We will get back on our bullshit, but we need to fucking, whether it's behind closed doors, their experts, their fucking brain trust need to get together with our experts and our brain trust, and they need to be able to sit down and talk honestly with real factual numbers, factual progress, without having the government standing over their shoulder with the threat of, don't say the wrong thing or else you'll disappear. And I'm not just talking about China's government. I don't put that shit past our fucking government at this point. Believe me. I think if a doctor went rogue and started fucking screaming about it's the end times, it's a lot worse than they're telling you, you're being lied to, that motherfucker would be arrested and buried or Epsteined real quick. Say what you want. Tinfoil hat, cool. Put it on me. But I just don't buy this shit. I don't buy China's numbers. I don't buy that we're working together like we're being told. All these countries are just putting all their bullshit aside. No, I don't buy it. Obviously, our allies are probably doing that to an extent, but the nature of a pandemic is nationalism and isolationism takes over, and they start hoarding their own supplies. Yeah, we sent those supplies to China in January, early February. Who's sending supplies to us now? Oh, that's right, crickets. Okay.
Yeah. And ironically, isolationism it's what's going to fix this. Ironically,
but
on the micro,
totally different
and macro
definition.
Level.
Yeah. I guess.
No,
anyway, I'll restrain myself from being pedantic.
Unregimented.
ChristopherMedia.net. ChristopherMedia.net.
Unregimented.
All right, so do we want to talk about that Instacart quote-unquote strike?
Yeah, okay, first of all, what is Instacart? Forgive me my ignorance.
It's
online delivery?
Yeah, it's, hey, go to Kroger and get this for me, and then bring it to my house.
And what's going on with that?
Their workers are quote-unquote striking, but they're not in a union. So last time I checked, that's just quitting. Like, you have no protections if you're not in a union for striking. You don't get strike pay. Your job isn't safe. I don't understand. Like, initially it was they wanted more protections, and then Instacart gave them, they gave them hand sanitizer, all the protections they were asking for. So now it is the discussions have shifted to pay. They want to default 10. They wanted, which, by the way, Rich, I'm sure you can hear this and go, yeah, good fucking luck, eat a dick. They want a default 10% tip instead of a default 5% tip. Yeah, exactly. I knew that would be your fucking.
They're also asking for a $5 per order hazard payment.
Whatever the fuck that means. Again, my wife, probably more liberal than both you guys put together. Her reaction to this was, they know what they were getting into. It's like, oh, wow, all right. That's not a very liberal attitude of you, but it's exactly what I said. Yeah, you know what you're signing up for. For starters.
They're asking for expanded sick leave. So this is on top of the policy they announced on March 9th that they're giving 14 days of paid leave to any part-time workers or shoppers who had been diagnosed with COVID-19 or had been put into a mandatory quarantine.
Because they federally have to. But hey, they're still doing it. But yeah, well, no, that's the thing. Expanded sick leave, for starters, well, that came from the government. You can't expand on what the government gave them because they don't have to provide it to you because they're not an entity, right? They're it's like Lyft, right? It's like Uber. You're an independent contractor.
Just the idea that you're getting paid time off for sick leave from a part-time job that you work through an app.
Yeah.
That's kind of insane that they're doing it in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Which again, the government is making them. So again, how are they supposed to expand something that is being federally mandated? They can't. And again, they don't have the infrastructure for it because again, they're a gig employer. What insurance are they giving? They're getting the money for that sick leave from the government to pay you. They don't have the money for it. I mean, it's not set up that way. That's not how this works. I don't understand how you can strike when you're not a part of a union. It's just, and if I was Instacart,
you also have to have an idea of where the money's coming from, right?
Yeah.
So, do you expect this $5 per order hazard payment to be tacked on to the person making the order? That cost would just be passed on to them? You probably just have less people actually using your service then, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, and two, because
first of all,
way to bail on your customers when they need you, by the way.
If you're making decent money off of Instacart, you're probably making a lot of that off of these stupid trips of you're grabbing like 2 or 3 items from the store and delivering it to somebody. Because those are quick turnaround, and you still get tipped out and paid whatever your flat fee is. It's the person ordering, $100 worth of groceries that is going to take up a lot more of your time and really lower your average, your hourly rate basically of pay.
Rich, they say they only make $5 to $7 per delivery. I bet you would love to make $5 to $7 per delivery.
It depends on what you're doing. Like, you might only get 2 deliveries in an hour. It's not set up like pizza delivery, like stack up these 5 orders, take them out, run them, and you drop them all in 40 minutes.
But there also are some periods in pizza delivery where you will only have 2 deliveries that hour because it is slow.
Oh, we literally got rid of our day driver for the time being, because he's like, we shorten our hours. We open later and we close we're supposed to close a little bit earlier. And he's like, why would I waste my time coming in for 4 hours to take 1 delivery? So basically you're paying me sub minimum wage by $4.50 an hour to sit here and do the work of an insider who you're paying $4.50 an hour more to do the work if they were here. And he's like, I got another job. I don't need this. This is my part-time job. And
right. Well, the only point I was trying to make is that if you track on $5 per transaction, then there goes all your easy trips. Yeah. Now all you're doing is people who are buying $50 or more worth of groceries, which means that you are spending an hour at least between the grocery store and making the actual delivery, which means that you're going to average now $7 an hour instead of $14 or $20 an hour, when you could squeeze in a couple more short trips. So
I will say this:
they're going to be fucking themselves if they tack on an extra $5 an hour. And if it doesn't get tacked on to the end user, where does the money come from? It doesn't just get generated out of nowhere. The person pays a certain amount for their groceries. That all goes to the groceries. They pay a certain amount on top of that to have somebody deliver it. Instacart takes their little fee, which is, if it's anything like any of the other services that I'm familiar with, it's like $1 or $2. And the delivery driver gets the rest of it, which is where that $5 to $7 comes. So where does this extra $5 come from?
I don't know. I don't know about Instacart. But I do know that there's a few of these type apps that we deal with, and I won't name one because you guys Chris, you really don't want a lawsuit. One of them marks their shit up almost 50% from our prices, and that's what they tell the customers.
Oh, they all do that. Oh no, you can name them all. You can name them all because they all do it. Trust me, I've been involved in a few C&Ds because
I mean, but Instacart is just they don't look at pricing and mark up items. You're just doing somebody else's shopping for them. They're not selling those items. You're not actually buying the items from Instacart when you buy grocery items.
Well, no, but at the same time, but you're also not buying this food from Grubhub or DoorDash or Postmates. You're still buying it from that restaurant. They mark it up and they keep the markup. Like, for example, like a $2 hamburger, they'll make it $3.50 and keep the $1.50. As long as the restaurant gets what they're supposed to get, that's how they skirt around it. In addition to their service fees and their small order fees and their delivery fees. Oh yeah, that's how they do it, man.
Well, there's one thing I will say.
So I wonder if they do it with groceries, Rich. It's a good point.
In the last 2 weeks, we've been getting some very strange requests on deliveries, and I thought I'd seen it all. You know, like from people going, "Hey, would your driver run to the liquor store for me, pick me up a fifth and a couple packs of cigarettes?" Like, how much you paying? You know what I'm saying? Time is money, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You want me to literally, time is money.
You got an extra 20, I'll give you a handy.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I ain't gave it $20, it's $20. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But no, I mean, if I'm going to put
that money in my hand,
if I'm going to put the next person 5-10 minutes behind, you better make up for the tip that I most likely am probably going to get either cut or not get. And you know, we had our regulars that were like that for the most part. They paid. We got one guy. He's a shut-in. He's a drunk. When he can't get out to the store because I guess he tied one on for half his life, and so he just didn't feel like leaving. Fifth of Rock Gut whiskey, he hands you a 20. Rest is yours. Shit he drinks, $5 a fifth. It's Rock Gut. So I'm walking out with $15. Okay, I'll run to the liquor store that's literally a block and a half away from your house. Not a problem. In fact, once I figured out that he's always going to pay me, I stop before I deliver to him so it doesn't even fucking cost me that much extra time. I'll pay out of pocket because I know I'm going to get it reimbursed. But I mean, we're starting to get weird. Like, could you run and grab me this? Could you run and grab me this? Can you run it? No. Like, we had 4 people say, could you give me some sort of paper towels or toilet paper? Like, along with their order. I'm like, do you want napkins? No, I need something bigger than that. I'm sorry, your ass is so large you can't wipe your ass with napkins. My ass is considerably large and I can wipe my ass with napkins, so I don't...
Hey, we did a story on the Weisman about a guy who sent his dog to the store for some Cheetos.
Yes, and the dog came back with him.
Hell yeah. and they were the right ones, because he wrote a note.
Remember when our parents could just write a note, attach it to us, and we could go to the store and buy liquor and booze and cigarettes and bring it back to them and not even get a second look? Now we got to send dogs.
I did that for my next door neighbor. Her father, like he was old. I don't know. I was a little kid, whatever. But yeah, her next door neighbor, like her father lived with her or whatever. And yeah, like, hey, you go to the store, give me cigarettes, I'll give you a note. All right, cool. My mom found out, was kind of pissed. She was like, you're not doing that again. Like, okay. I don't know. I was like, that was 4 or 5. I didn't give a shit.
Well, you need to kick up a motherfucker's allowance.
Thing.
What's that?
That's when you've been like, well, Ma, Dad, you need to kick up my motherfucking allowance. That's my side hustle. You can't fuck with my side hustle.
Yeah.
I'm ahead of the curve. Fuck flattening the curve. I'm ahead of it. This is the gig economy right here.
Yeah. In 25 years, this shit's going to be everywhere.
You guys might not like it, but your kids are going to love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just Postmates before Postmates, Mom. You'll know what that is in 25 years. Actually, she still doesn't know what it is.
No, I've talked to a few people who've delivered for those type of services, not necessarily the one you're talking about, but the type. And I mean, first of all, if you don't turn the app on, you don't work.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Like,
yeah, but
how you striking at something you make your own hours at is another question I had.
Yeah, how do they know when you do and don't show up? Because they don't care, because there's other people going to turn the app on and go to work.
Right.
So you're not even chapping the man's ass. You're just fucking basically pissing down your own leg.
Wait, you know what?
Instacart said that they didn't even notice. If they didn't announce that they were protesting, then Instacart would not have known.
Instacart's response was, "We have 40% more shoppers in our system than we did a week ago, and we just hired 250,000."
Like, yeah, when you say, "Hey, sorry for missing work yesterday," and your boss says, "What now?"
Yeah, exactly.
That's not a good sign.
Well, I was joking.
Not a good sign. You might not be an essential employee.
Well, I was joking with a guy I work with. If I was Instacart, my response just would have been that unemployment graphic from last week. Okay, cool. There's 3 million people looking for work. Cool.
Yeah. Oh no. Where will we find people interested in working in the gig economy?
Exactly.
Whatever shall we do?
Oh no. You're going on strike? Shit. I guess there's only going to be 3 million people to choose from.
Oh, guess no. We got to fold up shop, guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
Back to sucking dick. Go hit the streets again.
I got these cheeseburgers, man. Which way to Crenshaw?
You're not fucking Norma Ray, all right? This is a job you're choosing to work. You knew what you were getting into.
Norma Ray like a motherfucker, huh?
If you don't feel safe, you don't have to work.
Here's the real bitch of it, at least in this area of Michigan. I think it's called Clickable, like Kroger has. Mm-hmm. You go on, you make your list. If you give them a new email address, you get 5 free pickups. After that, it's like $5 per order. I have friends who have fucking gargantuan families, well, for nowadays at least, like 6-7 people in their families, and get $250, $300 worth of groceries delivered to them, and they pay $5. Or they go pick it up, you know what I'm saying? Not delivered to them, excuse me. They do the shopping, and then they bring it out to your car, and they even load it in your fucking car for you.
Hell yeah, they do.
Yeah, and that's the grocery employees are doing that, though.
Yeah, and there's a big fucking sign that says, do not tip, because you have to pay per credit card. But of course, me being me and working the industry I've worked in, I was like, and okay, there's my sign for the credit card, and here's for you. I can't accept bullshit. You can accept it, and you will. Come on. Don't make me look like an asshole here. Come on, just take the fucking money.
I'm just gonna throw it on the ground. Somebody's gonna pick it up.
Well, yeah, it's like when I worked at Toys R Us as doing midnight stock. Sometimes our shifts would start the last hour. People would come in. It's around Christmas time. They buy those huge play sets, and it'd take 2 of us to load it up into some Novi fucking wine mom's minivan. And she'd, okay, thank you. You guys are such sweethearts here. And, it's Christmas time. So she whip out a 50 and go, can you guys split that? Like, we were obligated to say at one time, according to my manager, like, we can't accept tips. When she flashed that 50, I kicked my buddy that I worked with, and I was like, thank you. And I was like, by the way, if you don't want your half, I'll keep it. My conscience is clean.
Your buddy's like, I'm sorry, man, we can't. And Rich is like, thank you enough for your generosity.
He can't, but I can.
Like, I swear to God, you say we can't accept tips, I'm fucking you up between here and the front door. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking on, dude.
Rich just snatches. He's like, all right, we could split it. I'll take the 50. He'll take the thank you.
What happened to Bill? He fell. Right, Bill?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Fell a couple times. And you fell forward on the parking block and then backwards too? Uh-huh. I didn't fall and get to point the first time. And that was when I was a young man, so I would have done shit like that. It's a good thing I'm old and fucking slowed down now. Now I'm just like, I swear to God, if I got to go get a rifle, I'll put a bullet hole in you. You better not turn down that's $50, dude. Fuck out of here. That's when minimum wage was $5.25 an hour. We split it.
Yeah.
She just handed us 4 hours worth of fucking pay.
Yes.
Fuck you. I don't want to hear about we can't take it. But no, delivering's an easy job. You know what? All right, cool, great, wonderful. How many of you assholes can drive around as much as a delivery driver and not end up with fucking a suspended license due to tickets. Because I'm going to tell you what, I drive, and I've drove all over this country. Most motherfuckers can't drive. There's just all there is to it. And like people, I could drive. Okay. And how far do you drive to work? 5 miles. And how far do you drive home? 5 miles. And how far do you drive besides that every week? I don't know, maybe 10. Yeah, exactly. I put 100 to 150 on my car at night. I don't worry about getting into accidents. I worry about you hitting me, not me hitting you. You know what I'm saying? Especially when I see people with their head down doing 60 and a 45 while they're texting on their phone. I'm just like,
well, and if you also look at it as every time you, it's if you look at getting in a car accident as winning the lottery, so to speak, you're playing that lottery an awful lot. You're playing it more than the average man.
But yeah, and then there's just we got to wrap this up here soon. But then there's just the general. Anyone who's delivered understands this, the general bullshit and abuse that comes with it. Especially if you're delivering food that you didn't make to someone's door, and they're like, "Let me check it. This is wrong." Like a fire-breathing parrot. Wow, you fucked up.
Or it's late, and
it's like,
or it's late, and it's not your fault. But it doesn't matter. You're the guy who brought it, so it's late because of you. Yeah, I'm familiar. Everybody sucks. All right, well, man, it's another day of 327 million of us winging it. So we got through another one. Who knows what tomorrow will bring? Thanks to everybody who has been listening during our daily experiment. Hey, it's working, so it's cool. New people are finding out about the show. We had double our listenership last week, so welcome, new listeners and old listeners. You guys are the OGs. You guys were around before everybody else knew. So if you like it, tell somebody, share it. Make sure you review us if you like us. 5 stars. If you want to rate us, we are on Twitter at unregimentedpod. You can on Instagram at unregimented. Email us unregimented@christophermedia.net. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spreaker.com, the iHeartRadio app, Stitcher, ChristopherMedia.net. Anywhere that you listen to a podcast, you can listen to us. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you tomorrow.
See ya.
Later, guys.
Unregimented. ChristopherMedia.net. ChristopherMedia.net.
If you like this show, please tell a friend. Please make sure to rate and comment on all your favorite Christopher Media shows. Please follow us on Twitter and like and share us on Facebook. You can subscribe to all ChristopherMedia.net shows for free on ChristopherMedia.net. Thank you for listening, and thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.